Right.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome Dr. Mamta Goswami and Hiren Patel today. It's wonderful to have you here, Mamta and Hiren. So,
Pleasure.
Dr. Mamta Goswami has been to our classes in her first pregnancy. I'd like to share that. And her daughter, who was born then, is nearing teenage at the moment. And then after that, she had her second baby about 3 years ago. And this second baby was born at home with a Dai in attendance, Hiren in attendance, and a friend in attendance. So it was totally different from the first birth, which was in the hospital. And Hiren has studied in America. He's done his university in USA, and he came back to India drawn by spirituality and meditation. And together they had their first baby at home. Mamta, after she had her first baby, took a break from medicine and went on to study management at the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad. And I'd like to add here that before she did that, she also did her teacher's training with us here at Natural Childbirth Center in New Delhi. And Mamta, it's wonderful to see you again. And we'd love to hear about what made you decide to have a home birth and how was your experience of it?
First of all, thanks for your warm welcome and introduction. During my, I think from the beginning, during my MBBS years only, I was a bit disappointed in the way modern medicine is. So that humane touch, which I feel is instrumental, it's the key to healing, that I feel is mostly missing. And if I think in terms of a human life, birth and death, these are like the two most, you can say, important event we have. And
yes, it's like shifting from one dimension to another,
exactly.
One world to another. It's the biggest change we'll ever have, actually.
Yes. So that should be something, there should be some dignity, some grace, or some presence that should be attached to it. And I feel the modern medicine that has devoid this complete event of how it should be. And this belief of mine, I'll say it got more strengthened with getting in touch with you, attending your classes. Then we had our own sessions. And also I did my fellowship in palliative medicine. So both the aspects, when I see that the wholeness of life, that the beginning at the end, the kind of dignity they deserve, that's lacking in our medicine as of now. So whether we see the birth, it's in either labor rooms or operation theaters, or the death happening in ICU. So I feel something is wrong that we are doing. And that is something that I'll say drew me to the idea of home birth. So during my first pregnancy, I was intrigued by the idea, but I'll say I didn't have that kind of clarity and support. But during second time, yes, I was all for it. And with Hiren, I felt this is the right time. We should go for it.
So, Hiren, how was the experience for you?
As natural as it should be, as Mamta mentioned, and we were blessed to be in that natural environment in a tribal, very small tribal town, away from all the hub and the noises of the
How interesting. Can you tell us where were you in which area?
We were in this small town. Rumi was born in this small town called Ahwa, which is in the only tribal district of Gujarat, which is in the western Ghats of the Sahyadri range. And our home was the last one, and right after our home, the forest will start. So we were in so much of a secluded spot,
Right.
and when we talked about the birthing part, few things Mamta had mentioned. One was that touched me was that every time a female in the animal world, needs to give birth or she's in labor, she very quietly slips away into a secluded spot where it's dark and there's no disturbance whatsoever. But with that no disturbance, she's filled with nature. Uh, that's the other part. Avoiding or the human aspects or other presence, by that void, you're filling yourself up with the nature. And that's, I think, the key to it. So we were blessed to be in this kind of spot. So it was very natural, and I was very excited. Definitely more excited about the idea, and still am about the natural birthing. So yeah, I was very happy, and kudos to Mamta. This kind of courage and clarity. Uh, Many women, they seem to be on a hesitant side,
Yes.
although it might be part of the conditioning or part of the pop culture, the general trends, or simply people being indifferent to such an important event in our lives.
I think
So
they are conditioned to believe that the hospital is the safest place to be. And that may be so if you're injured and you're fractured, but birth is a natural birth process. Birthing is a natural process. We forget that. I have for the viewers, I have pictures of Rumi to share with you. I'm just going to start a slideshow. Let's see Rumi, whose birth we are talking about right now. And before I show you his pictures, I'm going to show you pictures of a hospital birth.
give them the shocker first.
Can you see? Can you see an image?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Oh, that's an angry baby, very
This is a
uncomfortable
baby
baby.
born in the hospital, right? And after he's been cleaned up and all of that, then he uh, looks like this. He's still got a bit of a frown on his face. Um, just a minute. Yes, so this is the hospital born baby.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
this is
His
Rumi.
eyes are tense.
Just when he was born, right? Look how relaxed he is. His facial expression compared to the other baby. And this is, I think there's something happening here to my slideshow. Can I? Oh, so this is Rumi, and this is. Anita, ये आगे क्यों नहीं जा रहा? Just a minute. Okay, Rumi at 8 months, at 9 months, at 1 year and 7 months, 2 years and 4 months, 3 years and 1 month, 3 years and 5 months. This is his latest picture.
Okay.
So, Mamta, could you describe to us the comparison of the two births, the one that happened in the hospital and one that happened in the home?
When I think of this, how to describe it, because it's an experience, I'll say it's beyond words. But I just thought of a simple example. Like if we talk about sex, so it might happen between two people who are in complete love with each other. It could happen between two people in a loveless marriage, maybe a paid sex, or it may be an abusive or some event rape or something like that. So if we see it biologically, same event is happening, same activity is happening.
Right.
But if you ask someone the experience the impact, the memory, everything is completely different.
Absolutely.
So, when I think of birth, a birth in a labor room or in an operation theater, and birth that we experienced. So the experience, it's something profoundly, I'll say it, different for us. And
It's almost sacred.
something you can experience.
Yeah.
It's difficult to express. But what the experience, not just for me, but for like Hiren was there. So it was that creation happening, that magic happening in front of us. So it was very cathartic. It was very healing.
Hiren, how was it for you to be present, and how do you think it impacted your relationship with Rumi, your son, and Mamta, your wife? Do you think it had impact?
One, it was again, can't find exact words to describe, but it has vastly transformed my life. And I am definitely, in a broader context, I'm definitely a better person because of it. I am better able to understand Mamta as a female, without the other aspects of,
Prejudices and stereotypes that we generally have.
yes.
That is something I'll agree. Like now, whenever I'm going through all these emotional hormonal changes and all, he's very receptive. He's not that irritated now.
Right.
Yeah, it's simply the lack of experiencing these kind of experiences that makes us men be almost ignorant or even to a point of indifference, because I think most of us are not lucky to experience this side of the female, and this is the female at their best, because this is a creation that is coming out of a womb of a female, and it's so profoundly powerful that it blew me away. It completely, and still blows me away. So it was one of my biggest dreams to witness a child coming into this world, and silly me, I have these kind of dreams, not the big houses or the cars and things like that, but something like that. And it did transform my life. So at the time of Rumi's birth, I was, because of that, out of joy, I was crying to be able to witness such an event. And at that point, we also agreed and mutually that I would like to take this opportunity, because I've never had that, to bring Rumi up, till whatever time it takes. So that has taught me a lot. I am not, or wasn't always, a level-headed person, but the meditation and definitely Rumi taught me, coping with the anger part, patience, some of these things that I've learned from them, and also being in the present. We keep talking about, being in the moment, being in the moment. He is still at this age, he's still in the moment, kind of. So with them, they kind of drag you into being in the moment. You don't have that luxury to fall back on your past tense or, dream about future. They'll come back and give you a slap in the face, like, hey, I'm here. Pay attention. So that was another thing, and it helped me with my meditation as well. So yeah, it was a very once in a lifetime experience, and I'm very thankful for it.
Mamta, do you notice any difference in the personalities of the two children? One that was born in the hospital and one that was born at home?
Because every child is different. Everyone has a different personality.
Yeah.
But yes, when we see Rumi, we discuss like among ourselves that he has that liveliness, that sensitivity to his surroundings, that we see it's like lacking in the kids nowadays.
There's
Maybe
sense of dullness, kind of almost, or
Yeah.
lethargic behavior or body language.
So we see when like a group of children is there, and Rumi, he has that glint in his eye, that naughtiness. That so maybe as parents we might be a bit biased, but this is what we feel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think rest other.
A glint, a glint in his eyes, and an enthusiasm for life, and being energetic and happy, right?
It is very present. He senses the things that we at times we are like, he'll say something and we'll be like, what? Then we realize, okay, it is there, it's happening. Some sound is
Yeah.
there. Some.
Yeah. So generally, if you look at birth, normal birth and cesarean birth, what impact does it have on the child's life in the long run? If a child is born by cesarean or by normal delivery, as a doctor, what do you medically think would be the consequences?
Okay, so first of all, we all should understand this thing that cesarean section, it's an emergency procedure. It's a life-saving procedure. It's something that needs to be done at times to save the life of a mother or a child or both. And it's a major surgery. So these things we should always consider and keep in our mind when we are deciding on a C-section. This is not something you should take lightly. Even now we have advanced anesthesias and all these things, but still it's a major thing, and it has got its very prominent side effects on both the mother as well as the child. And we now have very well established evidence medicine that shows that cesarean section has impact on the respiratory system, in immunity. Children born out of a cesarean section, they are more prone to asthmas, autoimmune disorders, all the immunity problems, allergies. Plus, another side is where some evidences suggest that they are more prone to dysfunctional disorders. They are more prone to autism. There are studies that claim that. And even addictive behaviors. In the places where cesarean section and all these obstetric, high-end obstetric procedure BBs are commonplace, those societies, even Michael Odent has a big data on this, that those societies are more criminal, they have more addiction problems than the societies where still normal birth and normal midwives, they are more prominent. So
yes, Dr. Michael Odon has wonderful work on this, and he has an amazing website that people can visit. I'm just going to share it in the chat. So those who want to find out more can go on to, it's called wombecology.com.
Yes. And he has written some very wonderful books.
Yeah.
I think at some point I told you also about that farmer and obstetrician. How from farming community, farming society, we have become industrialized, and similarly our birth has also medicalized in the same pace, and how it's becoming a doomed situation for the humanity.
So, Mamta, what would you like to say to all the women out there who are pregnant at the moment and planning to soon have their babies, either planning to get pregnant or already pregnant and planning on the birth? What would you like to tell them?
First of all, I think it's a very deep conditioning. Whenever the birth comes to our mind, most of the people, they associate it with all the movies that we see, all the women screaming and shouting their heart out. So first thing from my experience, what I learned is that our bodies, they are designed to give birth. So that pain of labor, that is structured, that is made in such a way that it's very much bearable. Until and unless we don't fight it, we don't wish against it, and we don't let it accumulate. The moment that contraction is happening, if we are comfortable, we are relaxed, and we let it go, it will just go away. And then you will have a breather in between, and then the next contraction will happen. So if you are in that relaxed
Yes,
mind, and you
that is
have
so
that,
true, because sometimes when women say they were 10 hours in labor, it's not that they were in 10 hours of constant discomfort. It was coming and
yes,
going. That's so important, what people forget. That's so important.
exactly.
Right.
So constantly, the only thing that we should always remind is ourselves that it's something that has been for millions of years, and our bodies are designed that. It's something, it's a very physiological process. It's not pathological. Another thing I'll say is that I'm not here propounding for any home birth or anything. The thing that I want to convey, if somebody is hearing out there, is that it's your body, it's something you have decided. Take the onus of it. You discuss with your spouse how you want the birth to be. You discuss with your family members. You choose your obstetrician, the maternity center, or hospital, with the people who are like-minded, who understand what exactly you are looking for, and in all their decisions, you and your decision is centric. So it's not that you go for a home birth. If it's, if you can do and you want to, take charge of it, and
Take
you
responsibility for your own
have
growth.
taken decision. Yes, you take the responsibility, and now if you have decided or you are planning to, so try your best to make it a memorable event for yourself as well as the child and your spouse as well.
And Hiren, hats off to you for supporting Mamta with all that strength to live her beliefs. You know, sometimes we believe in something, but we don't have the support, or we don't take responsibility on ourselves to live our beliefs.
He has not just supported me through birth. For
Mhm.
last 4 years, Rumi has just turned 3 days back. He is like completely, he has taken the responsibility of it. So he is the primary caretaker for the Rumi.
Hiren, what would you like to say to all the young men out there who are soon to be fathers? Any message for them?
Well, make sure it's a conscious decision, and make sure it is a personal decision that you have thought through, and that it's make sure that it's not a decision that is imposed on you by either your family or the society or the physiological you know limitations. So that is something that, because otherwise you will be able to if it is your personal and conscious decision, then you will be able to be a part of it, and you'll be able to experience it for what it is, instead of for what people may tell you what it is. So that's number one. Number two, don't listen to other people, and don't make this a point of discussion. When we gather, it's not much to talk about. It is something very sacred.
Yes.
You don't discuss this thing, because if you don't discuss it outwardly, then you would be able to feel it inwardly at a much greater level. So don't waste this opportunity by making a discussion point. Don't listen to the loud voices around you, whether it's your family or even sometimes, not all the time, but even sometimes to the modern medicine. Follow your instincts and follow your gut feelings. Support the mother. She knows what she's going through, and she knows what's best for her. So just let her lead, and just give her the support in that moment, or those moments that she feels that she requires. Uh, and it is an important experience that you would really thank yourself for, in your later life, for sure.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. And as we close, I am remembering the words of Dr. Michel Audin. Mamta just mentioned he's done lots of studies on how natural birth affects the baby. And his words were that, can humanity survive obstetrics? Looking at so much of, what should I say, interference in the normal process that's happening today. And on that, and yeah, so I would request everybody to look at Dr. Odon's website and his work. I think he's the only one who has researched natural childbirth. Most of the other studies are about medications and dosages and stuff like that, and time required. And
because if you go through his site and his books, it's not just the researches and all. There is a very profound wisdom that he's talking from his experience.
yes,
Even he talks about epigenetics on his site, that how those epigenetic changes happen in baby when the baby is happening normally in a water birth or the natural birth, or when in C-section. So those changes, what we are talking about here.
for Mamta, for people who don't have much of a science background, can you explain what is epigenetics to them? Can you just say in a few words, explain epigenetics?
The genetics is like, we have a genetic structure that's determined, 46 chromosomes and all those things. Epigenetics are like not exactly genes, but the proteins that are associated with these genes. So these genes, these proteins those are associated with these genes, they are very much prone to the environmental changes. So they change, and when they change the physiological aspects of our body, our lives. So he has these studies that show that epigenetic changes happen, and they happen when birth has been tempered. So we are tempering with our babies.
Yes.
And I think along those lines, what I have noticed in US in my 19 years in US is something that I now, when I think back, US has, it's almost a pandemic that as young as 2-year-old, they're put on antidepressants right now, and there is a good big majority of them.
Oh my God.
They start them on antidepressants at the age of 2 years, and there is a huge population of the babies that are born in US with these disorders, whether it's the autism or even the weight management is horrible there. And eyesight, they're having sunglasses, you will find them much more in the US. And then what Mamta was talking about, this violence part or the addiction part, that is also much more rampant in US. So maybe tying all of these things in, I haven't done any survey or research or anything like that, but when I experienced this, and then with my discussions with Mamta, it made me open to look at these factors that I had experienced but hadn't paid any attention to because it wasn't relevant in that period of time. So yeah, so this is
that way. If you think about it, whatever our intuition tells, like what our gut feeling tells about all these things, sooner or later I feel science will prove it, because our intuition that is based on that wisdom of maybe centuries, maybe millennium of a long time, because whatever our intuition is telling us, we should go by it.
Right. Thank you so much for taking out time to have this conversation. It has been wonderful to reconnect after so many years, Mamta. And it's really wonderful to be you, and it's lovely to see Rumi's pictures and Hiren, to meet Hiren. And I wish you all the very best. And anything you'd like to say before we close?
Because we don't talk about these things. It's just that we started this discussion, you offered this thing. And we felt like maybe this is one platform where we should come out with all these ideas, share these thoughts, and there might be people who are like-minded and waiting for these things to hear.
Right. And they are directionless very often.
So
people are interested, but they don't know what is the right direction to take. And for them to get a little bit of a nudge in the right direction is really going to be useful for them. So really, thank you so much. And yes, you're right. We need to talk more about these things, which is generally a topic that's not discussed.
That was something that I was going to say next, is that, best of our wishes. And for those of you that need that, not the direction part, but just to talk about, Nutan's already there. If those of you in the area, or those of you that want to have another opinion, or another, just want to have a ear full of natural birthing experience from Mamta, Nutan can put them in touch with her, and
surely.
all of those are welcomed to
Is
ask
that
away.
okay, Mamta? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
Anytime. Would be
So anybody is interested can connect with us to connect with Mamta.
Dads want a one-to-one with Hiren, I think he'll be also.
Yeah. Why not?
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I think I'm going to share this with my students, and if any of them want to reach out, they will. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All of
and of course everybody else, but that's when it goes online. With my students, I can reach sooner, right?
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Thanks, Nutan.
Thank you. Bye.